Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna, peace. Prabhupada, thank you, Pawan Prabhuji, Nandkumar Prabhuji, Vishwanath Prabhu for leading the chanting. Let's continue with our prayers and then reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll continue with our prayer. This week we are reciting prayer from Pratna by Shri Narottam Das Thakur, the first prayer of the compilation of 50 plus prayers that Shri Narottam Das Thakur has composed. So this is Gauranga Bolite Hobe Pulaka Sharira. Anybody would like to try singing today? Okay, I'll continue. I would encourage you also to sing along while you're on mute. That way you get to practice and then hopefully you can hear other devotees sing also. Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite na yane babhinira Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite na yani babinira Araka benitai chandar karuna hoi be samsara basana mora kabe tu chahabe Vishaya chadiya kabe shuddha bimana Kabe hamahira bhoshri vrindavana Rupa Raghunatha pade hoibe akuti Kabe ham bujha bose jugala piriti Rupa Raghunatha pade Rahu mora asha Pratana koroi sada Narottama dasa Rupa Raghunatha pade Rahu mora asha Pratana koroi sada Narottama dasa Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Pratna ki jai, Shri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, anybody would like to read the translation?
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, please go ahead, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Translation. When will that opportune moment come to us, when there will be shivering of the body as soon as we chant Lord Gauranga's name? While chanting Hare Krishna, when will there be tears in the eyes? When will I obtain the mercy of Lord Nityanand Chandra. When by his mercy will the desire for the material enjoyment become very insignificant. When the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desires, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavan and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, and then my spiritual life will be successful. When shall I be very much eager to study the books left by the six Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami. By their instructions, I shall be able to properly understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. My only aspiration is to attain the lotus feet of the six Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami. Narottama Das constantly prays to attain their lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ritesh Prabhu. Yes, so like I was saying yesterday, we're discussing that we celebrated Jagannath Rath Yatra. So when we pull Jagannath, it is literally symbolizing the pulling of the Rath, pulling of the Lord into our hearts, right? So, and Lord Gauranga exemplified that, how to do that in the mode of Mahabhava of Srimati Radharani. So when we pull the Lord into our heart, we also have to open the doors of our heart, right? So, and that the doors of the heart only open through the mercy of the Lordships. So when we sing these prayers, we invoke the blessings and mercy of our acharyas, and through that mercy, the Lord opens the doors of our heart, and then the Lord actually enters our heart. So that is the power of these prayers. Okay, there are wonderful purports I noticed that Prabhupada has written on these. So maybe we can read one through each of these through this week. So maybe today we'll read purport 1. These are all written during the time when Prabhupada came to America. So December 29, 1968. Anybody would like to read this today?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Meenu Mataji, please.
This song was sung by Narottam Dasa Thakur, a great devotee and acharya in the Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the disciplic succession coming down from Lord Chaitanya. Narottam Dasa Thakur has written many songs which are recognized as authoritative by all Vaishnavas. He has sung these songs in the simple Bengali language, but the purport, the deep meaning of his songs is very significant. In this song, he says, Gauranga bolita habe pulaka sarira. One has attained the perfection of chanting when, as soon as he chants the name of Lord Gauranga, who initiated the Sankirtana movement, at once there is shivering in his body. This is not to be imitated, but Narottam Dasa Thakur is asking, when will that opportune moment come to us when there will be shivering of the body as soon as we chant Lord Gauranga's name? And after that, and after the shivering, Hari Hari Bolite, Nayana Be Ba Be Nira. While chanting Hare Krishna, there will be tears in the eyes. Then he says, Ara Kabe Nitai Chandra Koruna Hoebe. We are all asking about the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda is supposed to be the original spiritual master. So we have to approach Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya, through the mercy of Lord Nityananda. What is a symptom of a person who has achieved the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda? Narottam Dasa Thakur says that the symptom of one who has actually received the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda is that he has no more material desire. Ara kabe nitai chandra koruna hoibe samsara basana, mora kabe tuche habe. Samsara basana means desire for material enjoyment, and Narottam Dasa wonders, when will it become very insignificant? Of course, as long as we have bodies, we have to accept so many material things, but not in the spirit of enjoyment, but only to keep body and soul together. Narottam Dasa says further, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti. When shall I be very much eager to study the books left by the six Goswamis? Akuti means eagerness. Because Rupa Goswami is the father of devotional service, he has written a book called Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu, in which there are nice directions on devotional service. These topics are also dealt with in Chaitanya Charitamrita and other books, and we have given a summary of those directions in our book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. One has to learn of the conjugal loving affairs of Radha Krishna through the teachings of these six Goswamis. Narottam Dasa Thakura directs us not to try to understand the conjugal love of Radha Krishna by our own endeavor. We should try to understand this Yugala Piriti, conjugal love, Priti, conjugal love under the direction of the Goswamis. As long as mind is too much absorbed in materialistic thought, one cannot enter into the kingdom of Vrindavan. But Narottam Dasa Thakura says, Vishaya chariye kabe sudha habe, mana kabe hama haribo Sri Brindavana. When the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desires, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavan and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, and then my spiritual life will be successful. Updated April 1st, 2009.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mini Mataji, Ritesh Prabhu. Yes, so like this. Rupa Raghunath Pade Haibi Akuti. Kabe hame Haribo. Kabe hame Bhujibo Shri Yugala Priti. So we have to have sincerity and dedication towards the lotus feet of our acharyas and follow their instructions. When we follow the instructions, when we read their books, when we read their instructions through their Vani. And yesterday, so we'll transition to Prabhupada Leelamrit. Yesterday, in the same theme, Prabhupada, he was in Dallas, and he was also before Dallas, when he was in Delhi, he was corresponding with the teachers in Dallas, and they were opening the first Gurukul in Dallas of ISKCON. And Prabhupada was teaching how nicely that teachers should teach their students and how they should have both. The students should have both, fear as well as love, for their teachers, and how he was practically teaching the kids to write the Sanskrit letters, and also he had two sticks with which he was pointing to the board and says, he was just joking in a playful mood. He was telling, with one stick you should hit the head, another stick you should hit the hand. So who wants to get slapped? And then everybody came lovingly forward to get that merciful slap of Srila Prabhupada. So as a perfect teacher, he is teaching as Acharya how to have loving relationships in all of our dealings between devotees. It's not just one or two or 10 or 20 or 100. Right? It is everybody, because that's what a Acharya or a Pandita sees. He's Samadarshina. He's equal to everybody. So like Prabhupada was also saying, education is very, very important. It's a revolutionary idea. He wanted spiritual education to be taught in every school and college in India. He gave that lecture in Delhi Pandal program, and he was corresponding with the Dallas teachers. And it's a very revolutionary thought, actually. I was meditating on that yesterday. And like Kroger, we have a wellness festival coming up this Saturday. It's an annual event. And usually they invite a lot of celebrities there. So yesterday in the office, they were discussing about, US Olympian athletes will be coming, and there are these bands, musical bands, they come. So I was just curious, and when I saw the name of the two bands that are coming, the names were All American Rejects, and the other one was Third Eye Blind. So both seem to be very devotional, or at least in terms of spiritual, in the sense that Prabhupada was saying yesterday that every student, every child should have this education, right? Because otherwise, this current modern education is just producing hippies one after the other. So we see practically when all these Prabhupada disciples were there, they were all hippies initially, right? And they were all rejects, basically, in the American society. Nobody wanted them. But Prabhupada invoked the spiritual spark in their hearts with his purity. And here, again, these bands, All American Rejects, right? People are raving about now music. But again, in spirituality, every soul is unique and every soul is special. That is what a Pandita Samadarshana is able to see. Whereas materialistic society, they only see their own personal gains. Oh yes, these 1,000 people are good, they are brilliant, they are smart, yeah, we'll use them. These other 1,000 are useless, we will reject them, right? So like that. But for pure devotee, everyone is special. So anyway, so that was the mood of Srila Prabhupada about teaching. And now, of course, he's still absorbed in Bombay dealings, and he's corresponding with the Raj Maharaj, asking him not to step down as president since he was troubled by Mr. N and all his political tactics. but he's still continuing to encourage and send his senior disciples like Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Shyam Sundar Prabhu, etc. He's asking them to go to Bombay to help Giriraj Maharaj in dealing, because he was very young at that point and he was inexperienced in dealing with these political problems. So, okay, so we'll continue from here. Prabhupada decided to send Karandhara, whom he considered expert, to help in Bombay. He also wanted to send Shyam Sundara, but Shyam Sundara had gone to London regarding a large country estate George Harrison was donating. Prabhupada notified Shyam Sundara, however, that once the London transaction was completed, he should go to Bombay. Prabhupada was ready for the fight. He would not be cheated. During his return trip to India, Prabhupada again visited Hawaii. Then on October 11, he went for the first time to Manila, where a small number of disciples had arranged preaching programs for him, both in the temple and at the Hotel Intercontinental. In Manila, Prabhupada carefully considered his position regarding the Juhu property and concluded that he would come out victorious. He listed the points of his argument in a letter to Giriraj. 1. We have fulfilled all the conditions as purchaser. Mr. N has purposefully delayed with a motive to cheat us, as he had done with some others in this connection. But this time he cannot cheat us because we are in the possession of the land and our deity Radha Krishna is installed there. Therefore, we must immediately go to the court for enforcing him to execute the conveyance immediately. Even if the court case goes on for a long time, still our business there cannot be stopped. Without going to court, we cannot make any compromise with him. But I think we can arrange this full amount of 14 lakhs to get this rascal out of the scene. But we cannot do it without going to the court, otherwise we shall become a party for breaking the purchase agreement. Therefore, we have to go to the court before making any compromise. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's transition to chapter 41. The Battle for Bombay. Vrindavan, October 17, 1972. Prabhupada had come to Vrindavan to observe the Kartika season from October 16 to November 14. He planned to lecture daily at the Samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami in the courtyard of the Radha Damodar temple, speaking from the nectar of devotion, his own translation of Rupa Goswami's book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. On his western tour, he had invited devotees to join him for Kartik in Vrindavan, and now a few dozen devotees from America, Europe, India, and other parts of the world had gathered to be with him. He was concerned with developing his Vrindavan project, so rather than immediately rushing to Bombay, he had come here first, sending some of his leading disciples to tackle the problems in Bombay. Now, like a general engaged on a different front, he awaited word from his lieutenants in Bombay. He moved into his 2 small rooms at the Radha Damodar temple, while his disciples stayed nearby in the former palace of the Maharaja of Bharatpur, an old building near the Yamuna. Although Prabhupada was introducing his disciples to Vrindavan, he was also introducing the residents of Vrindavan to his disciples. Already, his group was encountering some of the same attitudes Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and his party of pilgrims had met in 1932, the people's refusal to accept low-born persons as Vaishnavas. Prabhupada trusted, however, that if his disciples could construct a wonderful temple for Krishna and Balaram, the hearts of the Vrindavan residents would change, and they would accept his disciples. He tolerated the roughness and slowness of his disciples, and when Vrindavan residents came to see him, he humbly requested they also overlook his disciples' faults and recognize them as genuine devotees of Krishna. After all, they had given up sinful life and were regularly chanting the holy names of God. Prabhupada lectured morning and evening, sitting on a simple asan about 2 feet high, a bare bulb suspended over his head. Prabhupada would address his disciples and the few interested guests who sat before him. Some of the devotees had speculated that since they were now in Vrindavan, Prabhupada would probably talk on highly elevated spiritual topics, such as Krishna's rasa with the gopis. But it was not so. Rather, one of his disciples would read from the nectar of devotion, and Prabhupada would interject extensive philosophical comments on attaining pure love of Krishna through the successive stages of Bhakti Yoga. While Prabhupada's talks were especially for his disciples, he also stressed that the Brahmanas of India accept the Western Vaishnavas. And he cited dozens of scriptural references to prove his point that birth status, being a material designation, did not apply in spiritual life. Stressing preaching as the essence of Krishna consciousness, he urged the disciples present to continue propagating the Krishna consciousness movement. Prabhupada's disciples were thrilled by these talks and by Prabhupada's personal dealings with them in the intimate atmosphere of his rooms at the Radha Damodar temple, which he referred to as his eternal residence. the place where he had actually begun his plans for the Krishna consciousness movement. His disciples could hear him rise early and begin translating Srimad Bhagavatam and dictating his purports. At the Aarti time, he would open the shutters of his room and behold the deities. At other times, the devotees might see him walking on the terrace, chanting japa, and they found him always available to answer their questions and help them with their personal problems. Tamal Krishna Goswami, Shyam Sundar, and Karandhar arrived in Bombay. Things had worsened. Giriraj informed them. When Mr. N had seen the notice in the newspaper publicly advising that ISKCON had entered into an agreement for the Juhu property, he had become furious. Giriraj had gone to him with folded hands and bowed down before him, but Mr. N would not be appeased. He had gone back on all his promises and had cancelled the sales agreement on the plea that the devotees had not obtained the deed within a 6-month period. The 2 lakh down payment he had claimed was now his, and the devotees should vacate the land immediately. Mr. N had shut off the water supply to Hare Krishna land. Several days later, a hoodlum had shown up at the entrance to the property, brandishing a machete whenever devotees passed by. A friend of Mr. N had printed a handbill ascribing scandalous behavior to the American Hare Krishna devotees and was having it distributed at the nearby Ville Parle train station. Although a few devotees had left and others wanted to, about 30 devotees still remained in Bombay. The first thing to do, Karandhara said, was to find a new lawyer. And he went to Bombay's most prominent solicitors and hired a specialist in land transactions and conveyances. Next, the leading devotees and their solicitor met with Mr. N in his office. Mr. N was stubborn and uncooperative, and the ISKCON lawyer was threatening. A court battle seemed inevitable. Tamal Krishna Goswami, Karandhara, Bhavananda, and Shyam Sundara talked together, and the more they talked, the more they began to see the entire Juhu scheme as impossible. Even without Mr. N's treasury, just to live on the land was very difficult. The devotees and the deities had such poor living facilities that the roof leaked and the cement floor was crumbling. Rats, flies, cockroaches, village dogs, and the mosquitoes infested the place, with even an occasional poisonous snake. Devotees were always contracting tropical diseases, especially malaria and hepatitis. So, although ISKCON's new lawyer was prepared to take the case to court, the devotees were hesitant. Mr. N had said that they, not he, were criminals because they had not gotten permission from the charity commissioner. They were on his land illegally. He said he would sue for damages. He even seemed to be on the verge of some violent action. Considering all angles, the leaders whom Prabhupada had entrusted to solve the Juhu entanglement decided that ISKCON should relinquish the land. Drafting a joint letter to Srila Prabhupada, they had Shyam Sundara hand-deliver it to him in Vrindavan. Sitting in his room at the Radha Damodar temple, Srila Prabhupada read the letter from Bombay and then set it aside. He walked out into the open courtyard. In the last light of the day, many birds were chirping, and the devotees sat on the ground on a dhuri, waiting. Prabhupada sat on the simple raised seat and began singing Jai Radha Madhav. He had Pradyumna read, stopping him to explain a point whenever he felt inclined. He spoke of the special benefits of residing in Vrindavan, but warned that one should not come to Dham to do business or to commit any offenses. If, however, a Vrindavan resident did commit an offense, he could still receive the special benefits provided he remained sticking to the dust of Vrindavan. Night fell, and in the dark courtyard, Prabhupada continued lecturing beneath the dim electric bulbs. Visiting pilgrims came and went, watching the Swamiji lecturing in English to his Western disciples. After the question and answer period, Prabhupada walked back to his room, exchanging words along the way with Gaurachand Goswami, the temple proprietor. Some devotees lingered in Prabhupada's room, and many Indians peered through the barred windows, although they had never cared to look years ago, before the room's permanent resident, Bhaktivedanta Swami, had gone to America. When Prabhupada was finally alone, he began to think of Bombay. Although hundreds of miles away, the occurrences there were beating on his heart here in Vrindavan. He took out his copy of the agreement he had signed with Mr. N. Then he called his secretary and began dictating a letter to his leaders in Bombay. He began his letter like a lawyer, answering logically, point by point. One reason his disciples had given for wanting to give up the land was that the charity commissioner had refused them permission. In that case, Prabhupada reasoned they should try to get back the money and give up the land. But it appeared that the charity commissioner's permission was delayed, not denied, a small matter. Although Mr. N had mentioned a 6-month time limit for obtaining the charity commissioner's approval, Prabhupada pointed out that the original agreement mentioned no such time limit. Another reason Prabhupada's men had given for wanting to relinquish the land was that, according to Mr. N, they had failed to obtain the conveyance within 6 months. As per the original sales agreement, Prabhupada replied that according to the clause in question, it is our option to rescind the contract within 6 months, not the vendor's. But the real point was that Mr. N had accepted checks worth 1 lakh rupees as down payment within the 6 month period, and therefore the sales agreement was completed. We consider that he has completed the conveyance and we do not want to rescind, but we shall close the deal immediately. Finished. That's all. He's trying to avoid this issue by tricks. And he has dominated you, and you are a little afraid of him, and he has fooled you to think he is in superior legal position so that you will give him some money. But this is cheating. We shall not give him any more money. Don't pay him any more. First of all, bring a criminal case against him. So why you should be disappointed and afraid of him? Our position is very, very strong. If Mr. N was threatening violence, that also was not grounds for quitting the land. The devotees were on the land legally and should seek police protection. Therefore, I say that you boys cannot deal very well in these matters because you are too timid. Now, whatever you like, you may do. Immediately, criminal case should be taken that you are not doing because he is bluffing you. He says big words and makes threats, and you believe him foolishly and do like he says. That I shall not do. Prabhupada's conclusive advice was that the devotees go to the magistrate and tell him, "We gave Mr. N money and now he is threatening violence to drive us away." They should not be afraid. Prabhupada had not come to Vrindavan only to lecture. He wanted to begin construction on his new property, and the news from Bombay didn't distract him from his purpose. Every day he would have the devotees hold a Sankirtan procession from the Radha Damodar temple to the property at the Ramanareti. He would also go out occasionally to see the site, still nothing more than grass huts, a wire fence, and a small stock of building materials. Subala, the disciple in charge of construction, was slow and reluctant, and Prabhupada sent for Tamal Krishna Goswami to come from Bombay and take charge. Early one morning, Subala left the land at Ramanareti, where he had been staying, and approached Srila Prabhupada on the roof of the Radha Damodar temple. "Prabhupada," he said, "I'm having so much difficulty. I don't have time to read. I can't chant my rounds properly. I can't think of Krishna. I'm always thinking of how this contractor is cheating us, or I'm thinking of signing checks for labor and materials. It's just too much. All these things on my mind are stopping me from thinking of Krishna." "Do you think Arjuna was simply meditating on Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra?" Prabhupada replied. "Do you think Arjuna was sitting in yogic trance while on the battlefield Krishna worked? No, he was fighting. He was killing for Krishna. He was thinking of all the soldiers he had to kill for Krishna. Thinking of the checkbook, thinking of the men, thinking of the contractors. This is also like Arjuna's thinking. This is Krishna's service. You should not worry about thinking of Krishna directly. Arjuna wasn't sitting before Krishna in a trance, meditating on his form. He was engaged in Krishna's service. Similarly, this is Krishna's service, and you should engage. Your life is full of Krishna's service, and that is very good." Subala was still unsatisfied. He complained to Prabhupada that the other devotees wouldn't cooperate with him. He wanted to go into seclusion in Vrindavan for the rest of his life and chant, instead of becoming a full-time preacher in ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada asked, "What do you mean? No one will listen to you. You think that means they are defective? No, you are defective." Prabhupada raised his voice. "If you are preaching and no one will listen, don't think you should go away in disgust and save yourself by chanting. No, that is not our line. We must qualify ourselves so they will listen. Do you know the story of Mr. Beecham?" Subala shook his head. Okay, so we will read that story tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Okay, we can take any thoughts, reflections, any comments anybody has from today's reading.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Very strong point by Prabhupada that in our immature spiritual journey, we should not set ourselves aloof, not separate ourselves from the association of the devotees and try practicing, just chanting names. That will not help. We will fall down soon. So association of the devotees and the service, the devotional service is very, very important. Though sometimes we feel that we don't have a lot of time with all those services. But if we keep our mind and our consciousness that we are doing it for Krishna, then it is a direct service to Krishna. So just wanted to, have this in my mind while I pass my day today. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Yeah, we should engage in and seva, some practical service, right? So we have, all of us are educated, young people, like Prabhupada was when he went to when his Guru Maharaj, and he immediately told him that you are educated young man and you know English well and you should preach. So that was his service that his Guru Maharaj had given him. Like that, he didn't say just sit and chant, right? So I mean, that is, of course, that is our first duty. That is also a first service, our first and foremost service, like we were saying the other day. Doing it in the morning is the best, because then that is like showing our respect and gratitude to the all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that is his position. He's first and foremost in our lives. So once we finish, and once we do that in the morning, we have rest of our day practically available to do other services. But if we don't chant our rounds in the morning, then it becomes like a boja, right? It is like Giriraj Govardhan sitting on our head. Oh, I have to finish my 16 rounds. I have to finish my 16 rounds. And we just don't have time to do any other things. So, but yes, practically we should see whatever our skills, talents are, and we should engage through our body, through our mind, through our words, through our intelligence. We can be of some seva, and even if it is one service, that's okay. Whatever is our capacity, we know we don't have to be influenced by others, or we don't have to compare ourselves to others. Right? We know genuinely our capacity and our availability, and if we do that sincerely, we're able to engage in some service, even if it's menial service. That is what attracts the Lord's attention. So yeah, we should try to engage in some service. Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Vinita.
I see the fearlessness and focus of Srila Prabhupada. That is the one takeaway today. That he was so fearless in dealing, he was not going to be intimidated by anyone, no matter how big they were. If he was right, he stood by and made sure that his disciples also felt the power of truth and righteousness. So that is my takeaway today. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yes, and when we are sincerely practicing, following our Acharya's instructions, then that energy or that Shakti comes. Right? Sometimes we can see physically with our eyes things as they are, and sometimes we can't see. It's aprakriti. Right? So this empowerment that we talk about, empowerment comes, and we may not be able to see, but that only with empowerment we are able to do everything that what we are doing. Our simple endeavors in following the process of bhakti also is through the kripa, through the empowerment. That fearlessness that you're talking about is also empowerment, right? It cannot be just artificially something that we can act. Right? It is really mercy that flows from the Lord, from his sincere and pure devotees when we follow their instructions. So yeah, we just have to make the endeavor sincerely, then the empowerment will come, and with that empowerment we can be fearless in all our dealings. And then the Lord will, of course, there to protect us and guide us. And like I said, we think we are doers, but we are only nimitta matra. We are just, instruments. And the Lord is orchestrating everything around us. Just small things. And we'll start seeing his hand, seeing the hand of the Lord everywhere. We'll start seeing how Krishna showed up today. I was listening to one. Actually, I think it was by Brajvilas Prabhu. He was saying, he has this tendency to write every day. He writes, how Krishna showed up today. So yesterday I was reflecting. We were reading about paint of Lord Radha Kalachandji in Dallas. And my car, we've had some paint issues. So there was a factory recall for the car. And I had to take the car yesterday. After 3 months of appointment, finally I got the day to get the car to service. So yesterday when I took it, first I had to get a loaner car for that, because the dealership said they don't have a loaner car. So then I had to wait. And then afternoon they called me again. Yes, now we have it available, so you can bring it in. So then I go, I drive it, and then so it's paint repair. So they said it will take a week, and then they take me to the rental car department, and then there, as I said, that person who was taking us rental car, he has like big pictures of tortoise in his in his room. So first thing that came to my mind, oh, Kurma Avatar ki jai. And I turn around, there's a beautiful ocean, right? So in which the Kurma was there. And then there was the keys. As he opened the cupboard to get the keys, there were absolutely like 10 keys, 9 keys on the like he had hangers there, and then one key was lying on the floor. I said, okay, there are Dashavatars and there are also Navada Bhakti. So we do the key to our progress is the Navada Bhakti that Prabhupada has given us. So when we do that, and then just follow the instructions, everything the Lord orchestrates. So again, we can see the Lord, we can see his energies in everywhere around us. He's there, he's there with us all the time. It's just that we get that vision through practicing the process that Srila Prabhupada has given us. So anyway, I thought I'll just share that. Hare Krishna. Okay, if nothing else, it's 6:37, so we will pause here for today. Thank you so much for your kind association, and we'll continue reading that story that Prabhupada is going to narrate tomorrow. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Hare Krishna.